Okay, so on Friday we learned how to take a quadratic in its standard form. So like this is standard. And we learned how to convert it into that vertex form. Alright, so that looks like this. Okay? And so that's an important skill, and that's, remember, to do that we have to complete the square. The way to get from standard to vertex is to complete the square. Okay, so that's important to recognize that. So now the question is, if it's in that vertex form, how do we graph it without a graphing calculator? How do we model those characteristics? And what's nice about this, guys, is the characteristics don't change. We just have to look for them in this form. Okay? So here's the important components you're going to have in any parabola. Okay, so just sketch this, guys. You're always going to have the vertex, the turning point. So let me just give you a sketch of one. Alright, so the vertex, let's give you an example here. Let's say you have a turning point like this, and then one goes like this. Okay? Notice the turning point is at 2, -2. So that's your vertex. So you're always going to have that. You're always going to have an axis of symmetry. That's a line that folds the parabola in half. So you're always going to have that too. Okay? And so we're going to be looking for, in this vertex form, we're looking for 3 important things. We're looking for the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and then we're going to go ahead and label what the A value would also be right out of that. Alright, because remember, what's the importance of the A value in front of a parabola? What does it end up telling us? What does that A value do to any parabola? It makes it what? Wider or narrower, right? And if it's negative, it makes the parabola go which direction? Downwards. Very good. Okay? So this is actually pretty straightforward. We're dealing with those characteristics, right? And so let's give you an example of how to look for these. So let's say I gave you a quadratic already in its vertex form. You guys recognize how that is already in vertex form? What kind of gives it away? Just by looking at it, what gives it away? So Trey, what gives this away that's already in vertex form? What do you notice? So here's our vertex form. How can we mirror that, basically? Just seeing that.
How do you know that's already in vertex form?
What's the schema?
Yeah, it's just recognition, right? So I can see there's an A out front. The 2 is the A. There's the A in the form, right? I can see there's an x minus h. There's an x minus h squared. And then plus k outside. A plus k outside. Okay? So I recognize, hey, I don't have to complete the square. They already did it for me. It's already in that vertex form. Okay? So here we go. Let's ask some basic questions here. Does it go up or down? Alright, so we know it goes up. Why does it go up, Katia? Because the 2 is positive. Very good. The A value is positive. So let's write down the A is 2. So that's actually going to make it narrower. It's going to narrow that thing up a little bit. Okay? Alright, can you guys tell me what the H would be? Good. The H is the opposite of that number in there. So that's 1. And then what would the K be? 3. Okay? Excellent. So you always want to label the A, H, and K right away out of your equation. Okay? Alright. Now the axis of symmetry is always the equation x equals h, by the way. So let's go ahead and do that first. So we're going to go ahead and draw a line through x equals 1, because that's what the h value is. So we're going to draw a dotted line right through x equals 1. And so there's our axis of symmetry right there. Okay? All right, now the vertex is always HK, guys. That's always 1. So in this case, it would be 1, 3. So that's why you label those. Okay? So at the point 1, 3, I'm just going to put a dot there. That's our turning point. Okay? All right, and then all we need to do is figure out, we know it goes up, let's kind of figure out where it goes up at. Okay? Now, I'm going to let you guys use your calculators to find the table still, to make this simple, just like we did in standard form. Okay? So, what I want you to do is type this guy in right into our graphing calculators. Okay, so let me just clear some of this off real quick. So we have 2 out front, x minus 1 inside, squared. Oh, don't forget your square, that's right there. And then plus 3, like that. All right, so is everyone typing these in right now, actively typing those in? Go ahead and do that, because this will help make your life way easier. All right, go ahead and type that in, please. Very simple thing to do. And then we're going to just create a small little table to plot our parabola with. Okay. All right, so anybody have any issues typing that into your graphing calculator? All right, so then hit graph, upper right hand corner, and you will see where it turns at the point 1, 3. Okay? And then all you have to do is hit second graph to get your table. Second graph. Okay? Now, a lot of times students ask, I don't know what points to plug in to my table, right? Well, really, all you need is 2 points right of the axis of symmetry, and then you can mirror them over that line to get 2 points left of the axis of symmetry. Okay? So I'm going to plug in 2 and 3. So I look on my calculator and I look at where 2 is. So you scroll up to 2, and what's your output for 2? 5. So at 2, my output is 5. Alright, what about 3? What was my output? At 3, it was 11, right? So at 3, it was 11. So then you just plot those points. 2 up 5. 3 up 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 to be right up. One more past that one, right up here. So here's the right side of your parabola. Right there. If there is symmetry in a parabola, where's the left side? Or where's the points on the left side? So this is 1 unit right. This one would be 1 unit to the left. Good job. Okay. See how this one is 2 units right? So this one on the other side would be 2 units to the left. Good job. And so here is the left side, and that's it. So this is actually a really simple lesson, guys, as long as you're seeing how to take the parabola in that vertex form and maybe create a sketch. Okay? Now, some of you guys, I just really want to focus on the details, though. You really need to get these characteristics sketched in order for you to do these well, okay? And it makes it simpler than that way. All right, I'm going to have you try one on your own. Go ahead and I want you to take this vertex equation, vertex parabola, and I want you to answer these questions first, and then go ahead and sketch your graph. Okay? So go ahead and try that real quick. See if you're able to do it. Okay? So that's all we're doing today is sketching some graphs in that vertex form. Okay? Yep. A would be negative. K would be 0, yeah. should pop up on the chart here. Let's type it in. It's the second one, right? It's got negative out front and x plus 2 inside. Second square. Okay, good. Yeah, label those characteristics first, guys, okay, before you sketch it, and then you'll be able to get everything you need right out of it. Okay, now granted, you guys know where to find your calculators on your Chromebooks? That'll come in handy when you're online, okay? Right on your desktop, okay? You'll pull it up. You should have one from the school, so you need to ask them that before we do today. Okay? So, which part? So, the axis of symmetry is this. Actually, so it's negative. So the vertex is always HK. That's important. Now, make sure your graph has dots on it, has ordered pairs that make it up. Don't just draw a curve and no points that make it up, okay? And you do what happens. Okay? Yeah, what's up?
There's gotta be an easy way to clear this. Someone just pushed this button and went way.
Oh, they probably, so, what you can do is, if you ever have any problems, just hit second plus, go to the memory, get option set. And I just reset all the way in. Reset. And then I can do the same thing, go to the same option, reset, and default.
Oh.
And then it'll get rid of yeah. For some reason, when they play around with it, sometimes they can change a setting or something, and then it'll mess it up.
I was looking, I was like, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, good. So, did you type it in? Nope. You get a negative 0.
Yeah, no, you couldn't.
You don't want to.
Where I go, I'll just say it's negative.
You get it then? Not there. Does anybody else need help here? Okay. Good. You got it. I'm not sure what he's doing. I think most of us are on there with you. Alright, good. Alright. Alright, so take a look, guys. Let's go ahead and sketch those characteristics real quick. Okay. Alright. Ashley, which direction is this one going, up or down? Good. Can you tell us why it goes down? A is negative. Good job. The negative out front makes it go downwards. All right, Keegan, can you tell me what the A, H, and K values would be? Okay. So the H is actually the opposite of this plus 2 inside. So that's the only one you got to remember is different, okay? Yep. So always remember that. K is obviously 0 outside. So that's important to see. What would the axis of symmetry be? Good, at x equals negative 2. So all you're going to do is create a line right through negative 2 on the x-axis. And there's our axis of symmetry. The vertex would be at hk, negative 2, 0. So that's the ordered pair. So that's right there. And then all you do, guys, is use your calculator and type this guy in. So let's go ahead and do that real quick.
If you're not sure what points to use, go off of your vertex. Find that and then go 2 above it and 2 below it, and you should be nice little, should even right out.
Yeah.
So find -2, 0.
So yeah, let's plug this guy in real quick so you guys can see it. So there's our equation, right? Typed in. Here's your graph, and she's right. See how it goes upside down? So -2, 0 is your vertex, right? So if you just plug on your table 2 points right of -2, -1, 0, you could just flip them over that line of symmetry to get the other 2 points left.
Either put them on your table 2 above, 2 below, or just do the symmetry.
Exactly.
Do one side and match it on the other.
So we just hit second graph. Here's our table, so we're going to use 2 points to the right. So here's my vertex. Let's do -1 and 0. So at -1, if you look at your table, see how -1, the output was -1? At 0, it was -4. Okay, so it's really simple to do. Let's plot that next point, 0 down 4. And there's the right side. And then where would the points on the left side end up being? So where would this one end up being? Yeah, so right here. And then where would this one end up being? Yeah, so just go 2 to the left. There it is. All right, so remember, you want that symmetry, guys. That's why you draw the axis of symmetry, so you can kind of see that. All right? How many of you guys think this would be an easy assignment for you to do?